some things have been happening in my life. Um, if you look at this finger, I think that says it all because something is missing. Does anyone care to guess what that something is? I kind of wanted to talk about it because I know that when you share like your truth and you're honest and like really open and raw about things that it will reach people. I believe that it will reach the people that it needs to reach. And I think that we all go through these things and we're like, I'm the only person that feels this way or that has gone through this, and you really realize that you're not alone. Like, it happens to a lot of people. So, I got this at the Women's March. It says, "Stop Farming Women." It was like a sign that I think a group was holding up and somebody had discarded it. And, like, I'm gonna put that on my wall because I am a feminist and I really love that. My husband and I have been married for quite a long time, and we have been together for, going on 20 years now. And I think that's like a real accomplishment, especially when most marriages don't make it like even half of that time. Recently, over the past 2 weeks, I have had these it's been like a whirlwind, like a roller coaster of emotions. Probably about 2 weeks ago was when it began. Brian, my husband, had, told me earlier in those 2 weeks, so maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks and a half, that he was going to go to a bar to meet an old coworker who worked at his old place of employment. Brian has been given a new job at a new company, and this old coworker has been promoted to his old position. And I guess they kind of wanted to gossip and talk about the drama of that company, and I understand, and I didn't have any problem with it. So while he did that, I was just, here at home, living my life, my best life. So he comes back, and immediately I feel like something is off. And I didn't want to approach the topic then because I am someone that I try not to be emotional because I know that sometimes I am. Sometimes it's definitely the right thing to just jump in and say, we're dealing with this now because I can't wait. But other times I like to wait and, go over things in my head quite a bit and think and really work things out and say, does this make sense? Does that make sense? So I did that for about a week. It wasn't even a week, really. It was probably like 4 days. And I had suspicions that something had happened while Brian was at the bar because it's just a feeling. I have intuition. We all have intuition, and sometimes we don't listen to that when we should. Aside from that, I also found some proof. I don't want to get really graphic because I know none of you want to hear like nasty things, but am I allowed to say semen? Because I found some of that on on the shirt that he was wearing, as well as the pants, and I was like devastated. We have been in couples counseling. We started that last month, or a little while before last month, to really work on our communication and our relationship, which, it's been 20 years, so it definitely needed some work. Um, so what I was going to do is, rather than me go at it and say what happened, I wanted to wait until we had therapy that Friday so I could bring it up then, and hopefully we could have had a better communication about it. But the thing is, we didn't have therapy for some reason, so I'm like, I'm like so fucking stressed out because I knew that I was going to have to wait another entire week for me to bring this up in therapy. And during that time, I'm like really emotional, and I'm going through all these scenarios, and I'm like trying to gather evidence, and Brian will be in the other room, and his phone will be setting down, and I'll kind of like walk over. It's an iPhone, so I can't like open it, but you get like the text notifications on the home screen, and I'm like, who is this person? So I'm like going to his friends list, and I'm looking up this person, and I'm like, I don't know, and I'm going through the whole friends list and going, could it be this person? Could it be that person? And my mind wanders, and then my mind's like, well, maybe it wasn't even that anything at all happened. Maybe it was like masturbation while you're out or something like that, because I know that sounds crazy, but like, men are weird, ladies, like totally weird. So I'm going through all this, and it's just like, no, you need to listen to your intuition. And I'm trying so hard to wait until that Friday, but I'm like, you gotta keep your fucking mouth shut, because if you don't wait till Friday at therapy, it's not gonna work. Like, your conversation is not going to work, because you are going to get so emotional, and it's gonna go nowhere. This was like, this past Tuesday. It is, Saturday right now. So, Tuesday, I brought it up, and I was so, impressed with how I was. Like, I was calm, collected, I kept it together, I was very grown up about everything. I definitely let him know that I was not only hurt and betrayed, but like, it's physical pain. Maybe I should add that yes, he admitted it, and I'm like really thankful that he was honest, because I've been lied to like my entire life. I did also find out from him, and I'm thankful for this as well, that there were hookups, but it wasn't like hooking up with the same guy, and it wasn't like a very consistent thing where it's like, "Eh, it's Friday, I'm gonna go fuck somebody." It's been like sporadic, here and there, but it's not been like just one or two. Like, I don't want to like say, but let's just say I got pissed off at one point, and I threw my ring, and I think Brian actually threw it in the trash, because I don't know where it is, but I'm looking forward to him getting me a new ring. And let's just say, without saying, that it better have a minimum of 10 diamonds. Um, I'm like really upset about that, but I'm trying to move on. Um, I want to say, like, when I was younger, I loved my mom, but when I was younger, my mom, like, abandoned me, and she chose, like, other things over me, like drugs, and she was really neglectful at times as well. But when she abandoned me, the pain that I felt then, I have never forgotten. And that kind of pain is exactly the same pain I felt when I found out. But I think you can be like really upset, and it's totally fine to be upset. I asked Brian to leave, and he was going to leave the next day because I'm really nice, and I was like, you can wait until the next day. So he was going to do that, and I was like on the sofa because there's no way I could like lock myself in the bedroom. I have to pace, and I have to watch television and look at my phone and have like panic attacks. I laid there having panic attacks, and I'm like sobbing. I cannot stop crying. And at one point, several hours later, like that morning, I go into the bedroom and he's still in bed, and I'm like, I can't breathe at the thought of not having you in my life. And that's like the honest truth. And I think because of this, happening and me finding out and us actually having these conversations, it has led to a lot of growth and realizations on things between us need to change, and our relationship needs to change instead of stagnating, so we can get better and work better as a couple, and figure things out. Like, would you like an open relationship? Would you like to include people in our adult activities? Would I like to talk to him about like lots of different things that I like and that I'm interested in? I know a lot of you watching this are probably going to be like, you are a total pushover. How dare you forgive him? But the truth is, I do not excuse what he did. It was absolutely wrong. And I can go through that grieving process of, I was betrayed, and it's painful and it hurts. But at the same time, it's different for everybody. And if I'm really introspective and I look at things and I'm like, did I do something that could have led him to this? I'm not placing the blame on me because the blame is not mine. He could have talked to me. He could have said, if you don't have sex with me, I'm gonna go out and have sex with someone else. Like, he could have had that conversation with me. And, it's easy for me in hindsight to say, I would have done it. I would have said, let's do it right now. But I think I would have, rather than have like something else happen. But at the same time, he didn't do that, and he just took my choice away. So it's like, though, when I think about what part I could have had in this, I actually understand that I could have done things better as well. And I'm like, I'm hopeful to like, give this a try and to not like say, okay, let's fix it right here. I'm like, let's start something totally new, fresh, and exciting for the both of us. Like, let's totally discuss what we want, what we need. Let's come to agreements. I feel really good about things. It's like, it's been like such a stressful time, but I'm finally on the edge of this where I'm like, I'm really happy. I feel more in love than I have in a very long time, and I know that Brian feels that's the same way as well. Um, he's wanted to have these conversations with me, just like I've wanted to with him. It's just been difficult, like so much time goes by, and then it's hard because you get into patterns, and then you're like, well, maybe if I try this or that, I will be rejected. And I felt that, he's felt that. um this horrible thing happened that pisses me off, but it was a catalyst to, I think, what's going to be great change and a great future with him and I. And, for the first time in, I don't know how long, I'm like, I finally have my friend back. And I feel like I do, and I feel like I've missed him for so long, and I'm working on being like really present. I'm like a really funny, happy, go with the flow type of guy, like most of you know, but at the same time, there are times when I can be a total bitch. I don't want to say the C word, but I can be a cunt, man. So, I'm working on that too. Being fully present, fully loving, and being who I want to be for myself and Brian and the world. So I feel really good about things. I think maybe in the future we could like talk more about this, like not him and I, because definitely him and I, we're gonna talk about a lot of things, but you and I, if any of you have like questions like, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? Or, maybe even tips or advice for me, I would love for you to leave me a comment. I definitely don't want you to comment, the fucking son of a bitch, how dare he do that to you? Yeah, I agree. Like, how dare he do that to me? It was wrong, and I'm not making excuses, but on the other hand, I can understand. So, this has been a video of me catching up. Aside from being cheated on and treated like a piece of shit, everything in my life's going pretty much the same. I'm in therapy, so that's good. I started that a while back, and I'm gonna like talk about things and work through, not just this, but like other things that are important to me and helping me to be a better person and who I want to be in therapy. Uh, I'm also on an antidepressant. I started that a while back as well, and it's taken the edge off, and I'm really happy about that. Um, there are some other things that I'd like to talk to you about. So a lot of things, all good. This bad thing happened, but it's, in the long run, it was probably a good thing. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will try my freaking hardest to come back on here soon. Maybe next week I can sit down and make a video. If some of you have those questions or thoughts for me, please leave them as a comment, because that would help me a lot to say, okay, I can make a video about this, rather than just like nothing. So thank you, and I'll see you then.